What I must say about my son Floyd Reifer, that he is a very courageous man. He do not give up anything at all you could think about. If this man wanted to move the earth to please, he would do it.
Floyd is very passionate, he's humble, he's bold, he's strong, he always dream big, think big, always go for his dreams. Floyd is a person that whatever he do, he put 110% into it. He don't lie. And he is a person that you can call upon at any time. He's a listener, and you could approach him. And Floyd, I love you. I wish you all the best. Keep strong. Be of good courage. Do not be afraid or don't be dismayed. Just be strong in everything we do because we know that you can do it.
What I want to say about Floyd Reifer, my husband, is that he is a man of integrity. He is very loyal and he's a very passionate person. When Floyd puts his mind to something, he achieves it. No matter how hard the task is, no matter what obstacles he faces, he is always determined to succeed. I have been together with Floyd for more than 18 years. We've been married for 11 years, and there isn't a better person that you can look to for support, for advice, for guidance, for honesty. Honesty is what we need right now in this constituency. Honesty is what we need right now in this country. We need persons, the average person, to step up to the plate like what Floyd has done. It's a courageous step. I mean, persons told us, y'all really sure y'all know what y'all getting into? Politics is a nasty game. And when we sat together, we prayed about it, we reflected on it, and when Floyd made the decision that this is what he wanted to do at this point, I backed him 100%, and I will continue to back him. And I just want to assure all of the families and all of the friends and neighbors in St. George North that in batting with Floyd Reifer, you guarantee you're batting with a man that will go to the end of the earth for you.
Good night, everyone. Tonight, we are here with the Democratic Labour Party's candidate-elect, Floyd Reifer, as we discuss a bit about who is headed into the November the 11th elections. So thank you for joining us. Hi, Floyd. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Okay, I'm good as well. The first question we have, why did you decide to enter politics at this time, and why St. George North?
Well, I was born and bred in St. George North, born and bred in Parish Line. When the opportunity presented itself, and I got a lot of calls from people within the constituency, I got a calls from also the branch. And this is something I wanted to do for a long time in terms of giving back to my community. Now, this is the community I grew up in, and I got opportunities from within that community through cricket. And I took my opportunity and they grabbed it with both hands, and I think that I turned out to be, a fairly good cricketer and a good person, well-rounded person. Get the opportunity to travel the world, meet people, build my network. I've done some good things within my career. So I see it now for me as an opportunity to give back to the young people within the constituency. I've done a lot for the young people within the region and internationally as well. So as I drive around St. George North, I see a lot of young people, they look lost. A lot of them come out of school, have nothing to do, and you just see them on the blocks. And also in sport, you don't see any sporting activities going on around the constituency. Like maybe we were boys growing up, you play a lot of cricket in the road, and you go to different places and play cricket. And then one village versus the next village, and the competition is stiff. You know, you don't get that anymore. So I, especially now in these COVID times, where, you know, life is difficult for people. You know, unemployment rate is high. You know, COVID has a serious effect on the world. It's a domino effect for us. And mentally, you know, it's very stressful for a lot of people. So this is the time now for us as a community to stick together. This is now a time, you know, for us to not be selfish. I find a lot of people, you know, are selfish people now in terms of how they live within the constituency and within the communities and stuff like that. So I think now that this is the time now, you know, for us to go back to our roots and start living how we used to live before. You know, yes, life has progressed and, you know, everything's modified and stuff like that, but you have to go back to your roots and you have to rebuild the community.
You mentioned a lot there, but one of the things that I want to touch on before we go forward is you mentioned, and you were very humble about mentioning what you have done. A lot of persons may not know a lot of the things you would have done. You have something named after you. I think that's a big feat. So tell us a bit about who you are as a person.
I'm a very humble person. I was brought up in a very humble beginnings, a humble home. You know, my grandmother, my mom and dad, they raised me. I always talk about Marifa. You know, she's taught me a lot in life. Always be humble no matter whatever you achieve in life. And obviously my mom raised me in the church. We had to go to church every Sunday no matter what. Licks. You take your licks or no licks, but you gotta get up and go. And I gotta thank my mom for that because, you know, I got that solid foundation, you know, instilled into me. And wherever I go now in the world, I know I take God with me. So I have to thank my mom for that as well, in terms of making sure, you know, we get up and go to church every Sunday. But I mean, what you see is what you get. I'm just a simple person. You know, I care about people. I do a lot for people, but I don't have to talk about it. You know, I'm the type of person, you know, I help people a lot. And I don't talk about it. I do it out of the kindness of my heart. I'm a very genuine person. And I'm a husband, you know, I'm a father, brother, you know, and I'm a community man.
You know, and saying that you're a community man, persons who are watching this will know both of us went to the law school, so there is a bias. But when I was at the law school, one of the things that persons spoke about a lot was the Floyd Reifer story, you know, playing cricket in the road and then becoming international coach, that story. Tell us with that and with the experience you have, what are some of the issues you are seeing in the community and how do you plan to address them, knowing that you already have the community appeal to persons? Everyone knows Matt Reifer, everyone knows you. So how are you going to tie that in to the community programs?
Well, going to school at large, I learned a lot. I came upon Matt Fingal. I still call him Mr. Fingal now.
I always calling him Mac.
I can't call him Matt. I call him Mr. Fingal. And actually, Mr. Fingal and Nigel Newton, you know, they discovered me at large. I can remember the first day we had games, and we was playing one miss, right? And I batted the whole 40 minutes. Right, so. And from then on, Mr. Fingal, Mr. Newton, Mr. Lovell, Mr. Puckring, who passed away, Mr. Chase, I can remember everybody. But, you know, all these guys were a part of my development at law school. And plus, you know, I played with some good guys up there as well. But in terms of bringing it back home, you know, we did a lot of community stuff. I can remember, you know, coming home from school every evening, my guy Frankie Paul and his brother would bowl at me every evening. You know, these guys bowl a lot of balls at me every evening. And then I had this guy called Whitefoot. You know, the guys in my community remember Whitefoot. You know, Whitefoot could have played cricket better than everybody put together. Whitefoot would bowl at us, get everybody out, and then bat the rest of the evening. So we had good fun and stuff like that. And what I want to bring back to the community now is, you know, you bring back community life. You know, that's important. You know, people need that outlet, especially now, as I say, that COVID has taken a toll on us. You can imagine having to get another lockdown. I mean, it's serious. It messes with your brain, your mental aspect, and how you look at life. And people not accustomed to living in. You might live in a house with a person, but because you got to get up and go to work every day, you don't see that person too often when it's time to sleep or whatever. But you living in the house, can't leave, and then things, everybody get heated and is overbearing and want their own personal space, and you can't get it. So you get a lot of like mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, all these things happen at home. So I think the young people need that outlet now where we can bring that out into the community in terms of putting programs in place for sport, programs in place for entrepreneurship, programs in place for vocational skills, and we're not forgetting the older folks either. There's things that we can do for them. It's not only about walking around and fixing the houses and stuff like that, but we can put things in place for the older folks. The older folks, we can come out and have a bingo night, line dancing, and they need to socialize too. Mm-hmm. And there's a program that goes on at the university. It's not a university program, but they have where the old people come out there and they exercise 3 or 4 evenings a week. And these are people like over 50, over 60. They come out and do the walking and the little jogging and stretching and stuff like that. And they get to socialize with each other. So these are things too, you got to bring them into the community, and we can't forget the older folks within the community as well. And these are things that you want to do, to build up the community. It's not only about the youth, but it's about the elderly people as well. And it's about, folks within the community coming up and helping.
Okay, so you have a tagline that everyone has been sharing. You won't get big words, you will get big words. And I was privileged to be there on Sunday where you told us that you already have teachers on board to help with your after school program. Yes. Can you tell us a bit more about some of the big words that are almost at the launch stage?
Well, that program is part of my 10-point plan. The after school reading and homework program that we have in place. That's for the young kids now in primary school. We're going to offer supply Wi-Fi as well in certain areas in the constituency, because a lot of the kids don't have the Wi-Fi, to continue the online classes and stuff like that. So along with that reading and after school homework program, we're going to have Wi-Fi in strategic areas within the constituency. Now we have 10 teachers on board already, and they're ready and willing to work. Some are retired and some are current, which is good for us. And for that program, that's close to me because we have to instill the foundation into the young kids from early. You don't want them you don't want them to be left behind. And some of them are left behind at primary school level where they're not catching up to the rest as fast as possible. So this program is to help them, to catch up and to make sure that they're confident. Some of them may have low self-esteem as young people and low in confidence. Now we want to build that self-esteem and build that confidence as they get older, where that they're confident they can do anything they want to do. And we all know reading is important in terms of how you go forward. If you're doing a math, English, you still got to read the sums. So reading is crucial, is important, and it builds confidence into our young people. So I'm happy that program is going to start as soon as possible, and we have the teachers on board that can take it forward. And this is something that we hope that is a pilot for the wider Barbados.
Okay. And as you mentioned children, you would have also highlighted the issue at some of the schools in St. George, who many of them are not up to scratch with the COVID-19 protocols. We would have heard that you were planning to go to St. George Primary and clean the surrounding areas. Has permission been granted as yet?
Yes, the permission has been granted, and I had a tour of the school. And I gave my word that we will keep the school surroundings tidy. Obviously, there's a lot of issues going on at the school, and I spoke about it on the platform in terms of one janitor working between the church hall where the class 4s are and the school compound. That's hard. That's difficult. You know, the toilets are filthy. I mean, how can we have our kids going to school in those conditions? You know, even when they tour the school, there's no groundsman. They be talking about, you know, sport is the way for our kids, but you still don't have a groundsman to maintain the facilities. Same things in the sand pit. Hard to can't maintain that. They play a part, you know, need maintenance. You know, the kids started a program where they plant stuff, plant food and vegetables and stuff like that. Still can't have it maintained. You know, the roof leaking. You know, the bird droppings in the hallway every day, getting worse and worse. You know, the COVID protocols not in place in terms of sanitizing. The school is only sanitized once a day. So there are a lot of issues, you know, at that school. And it's sad to see that, you know, the video I saw, you know, having class 4 students out the church hall, they're pulling the students out the church hall, you know, without permission of the parents, without permission of the principal, you know, to stand up and show more, just for what political gimmicks or for political gain. I think that was, you know, that was low. That was very disturbing for me. You know, if my daughter was in that, I would be very upset. I would be really upset. And I'd be talking to my QC, to be honest.
Okay. Moving from there, one of the things that persons have a misconception about is that when you're in opposition, you can't do anything. Would you like to shed light on what you are doing and what you plan to do moving forward?
Well, I'm not even in Parliament yet, and things happening.
Tell us a bit more.
Things happening, you know, you spoke about the woods in Flat Rock. You know, you drive past the woods, you know, you see the woods clear. Benches are, they put down some benches. I'm sure they're going to plant some grass up there. So up there going to be a nice recreational area. So I'm happy for the people of Flat Rock. You know, we talk about the pavilion at the Glebe that was supposed to be built for years. You can't have a cricket team in your constituency, and actually the Glebe is right next to the Barbados Labour Party office, constituency office. So you have a cricket game every Saturday, and the players have to change in the road. You know, that's not good. And so we spoke about that pavilion, and now we see a back hole there, and the foundation is being dug out. So I guess some big work's happening there as well. You know, I spoke about the pit toilets in Superlative. You know, they get some measurements as well, so things happening up there. I'm happy for those folks up there, you know, that they can get those pit toilets. As I walk around too, I see 1 or 2 other places that is in need as well. The situation with the dump is an ongoing situation. That's something that I will talk about every time we get on that platform. I'm going to mention it because, you know, you can't have people living like that. You know, you can't be inhaling that stench every day, every night, every morning. You know, you cook your food, you can't smell the pot, but you smell the stench in the dump. You know, you change the towel at mornings, and by the evening, the towel full of the stench of the dump. I mean, how you can really live like that? Children are asthmatic, you gotta be gaining medication and having asthma attacks. And no, that's not right. It's not right. So obviously, you know, some roads as well. The patches, as they would say. The roads are so bad that they have to patch the patches. But there's a lot to be done. And actually, I spoke to a lady in Groves, and she said she was driving home and she burst her tire. And that's coming up that road to Market Hill. I know the pothole is so big. it's a huge pothole, so I can see why she burst her tire in that pothole. But all in all, yes, things can be done, and people and the opposition make it as an excuse. That's the easiest thing to say, oh, I ain't in power, so we can't do anything. That's the easiest thing to say. There's always a solution. There's always something that can be done. I strongly believe that. So I think that is politicians just being lazy.
Okay. On Sunday, we would have heard you mention your new term, pedigree politics, and how it has no place. Mm-hmm. Can you explain for those who were not there your topic, pedigree politics, and what it means for you as the representative of St. George North?
Well, yes, I spoke about the pedigree politics, and obviously everybody saw the video of Miss Bradshaw talking about pedigree and Tony Moore's pedigree and lineage and all of that stuff. So that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. It certainly rubbed me the wrong way in terms of how can you say a pedigree? I mean, like we don't have no pedigree. Only certain people can get into politics. Only certain class or status of people that can do things in Barbados. How can you downplay what other people have done? What about the Irishman that come up in a working class home, that went to school and study hard, but he ain't got the pedigree, so he can't go for it? You can't say those things. I don't think a lot of people in Barbados took it the right way. Sorry, not took it the right way, but they took it hard, right? And I think that was bad to say. And it shows up in the politics. You know, contracts come out, friends and family get the contracts. You know, many people get positions, it's friends and family. You know, every big deal that goes on is family or somebody that in your status. And that's what happened. And look at it now, and they made an example. You know, the Barbados Labour Party, they bought the land from Miss Ram to build the hotel. Now, this is the same hotel that they have strongly opposed when the Democratic Labour Party was in power. But you can find money to build a hotel, right? But the people at lower state suffering. So we don't care about those people they don't matter because they ain't got the pedigree. Right? So this is the pedigree politics, and it could go on and go on and go on. You're talking about in terms of how we look at things in this country. So if you're a sportsman, if you're not a doctor, lawyer, or engineer, that means what? you can't have a seat in Parliament. So Ray Saul was a cricketer, a great cricketer, and he was Minister of Tourism. He was. So that pedigree politics thing, I mean, no, we have to, stand up and fight and continue to push, our program forward. We need to give people opportunities, right? And that's, people can say that, and this government can say this, because when you give one party 30 seats, when you give one party all the power, they can do as they like. And that's what's happening right now in this country. Mm-hmm. People are afraid. People are fearful. And I can say, I'm not afraid to say, I fear no one but God. And people are fearful. We should not be living in this country like that. This is a democratic society. And the sad thing about it, all these politicians are friends, All of them are friends. They get and come together in the secret shops and stuff, and they talk and laugh and stuff. But John Public now gotta suffer because use a B and use a D. So if you use a D and use a B, you're gonna suffer because I'm backing you and you're backing me. It's foolishness. Mm-hmm. You gotta stop.
Mm. Speaking on the topic of cricket, many persons have questioned, can Floyd do this? He's not experienced, he's green, he no come into politics. Can he get to Parliament's gates? And if he's elected opposition leader, can he do it? What is your response to that?
People talk about inexperience. How do you get experience? The only way you get experience is when you get into the situation. All right? So all the politicians that are there now, they started at zero. Right? They started at zero, then they started as a top politician. They come in the same way, they gotta gain experience, you make your mistakes, but you learn from them. And then you build and build and build and get stronger. I play a lot of cricket, and every level you play at, the higher level you play at, obviously you gotta gain experience. And the only way you can do that is by playing, being faced with situations, working your way through situations, and learning from it. Not only that, but also listening a lot, try to gain as much knowledge from the people that was there before. So I'm sure that when my opportunity comes, I have a lot of people around me that I'll be listening to in terms of gaining that knowledge. Knowledge is key, right? So I take that knowledge and I work my way up in terms of living it my own experience, and you blend the two together, and that's how you get experience.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I want to ask you is in relation to the current issues in the country, such as crime. We would have heard on your platform, many persons felt very, very strongly about the retort that the young man was a criminal. Mm-hmm. What is your retort on the crime situation in Barbados and how it could be addressed?
Well, the crime situation in Barbados obviously is getting worse. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Unemployment, the youth not getting opportunities, programs not being in place to help young people. I think that young people spend more time in their communities and at home than at school. Right? You only go to school, 4 or 5 hours a day, and then you go back home to your communities. So if community life is dead, the community centers are dead, nothing is happening within that community. We need to get programs running. We need to encourage young people now to be entrepreneurs. They need to feel love, they need to feel care, attention, mentorship. Lack of mentorship again within the community, lack of guidance, right? I think that once we get these things in place, it would take some of these people, young fellas from off the streets, where they know they have something to do. Be it sport, be it being an entrepreneur, vocational skills. Because a lot of them have skills, but they just see, they want the quick way to make money. Okay, so again, lack of mentorship as well. Even you look at homes, a lot of single mothers inside the homes as well. So there's no fatherly guidance within those homes. And so if you're lacking fatherly guidance in those homes and lack of mentorship within the community, in terms of the older folks, then everything kind of goes south. Right, so I think that once we rebuild the community spirit again and rebuild the community, it will lessen down on that crime.
One of the other questions I have for you is, what skills have you learned in your cricketing life that you think can be applied to your political career?
Well, I've learned a lot. First, management of people, managing the egos, managing the different characters. You got to manage those things properly. It's okay to lead, but part of leading is managing as well, right? And some of the things that I've learned also is how to deal with the different characters, with the different cultural backgrounds of people. You don't know what goes on in people's homes, and people come with different issues, and people have agendas, and so you got to learn to sit down, analyze, assess as quickly as possible, and you map out your plans in terms of how you can deal with this person, that other person, to get one team going together and gelling that team together. So in my experience, as a head coach, those are the things you got to do. We always see the glory and the glamour on the field, but we don't see the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. The mental preparation, that's key. The talking, the mentorship. So what I would bring to the political scene is my experience in terms of how to help people to develop, manage people. When you're talking to the people in the community as well, you got to build trust. Right, that's important when you're dealing with young people. Make sure that you build that trust, that you and that person can have that conversation. And I'm going to bring my work ethic. I work very hard. I'm very dedicated at what I do. If I do something, I'm going to put both feet, both hands, everything into it. Right. So I think I have a very good work ethic. A good knowledge base as well, and I'm a fast learner. So when you put everything together, and my skills, my leadership skills, I think I'm a very good leader. You know, I've laid teams, I've laid people, I've laid programs, I've laid institutions, I've worked at the university, you know, I've captained from school all the way to the top. You know, I've laid and at the university as well, where I created the Blackbirds program in terms of cricket, you know, from scratch to where it is now. So that was a lot of work as well. So I know what hard work is. I know what representation is. And quality representation at that. I know what that means.
Speaking to residents in St. George North and having that hometown advantage, how has the response been? I know that today, for example, you would have come from Groves as well as Jericho tonight. What was the response, and how has the response been overall as you go house to house and talk to persons why they should vote for you?
I can easily say the response has been great. I've never met upon any hostility. Yes, you will meet the die-hard people that are in opposition, but they will still have the conversation because of who I am. But I've not met any hostility, and you know, everywhere I go, I'm well received. You know, the conversations are good, but what I try to do is listen a lot. You know, when you go around, people have a lot to say. People have a lot to say. You know, they want to get a lot of things off the chest. And obviously, again, you know, the way this situation is in Barbados, you know, a lot of people are unemployed. So they're looking for ways, you know, to make money. So I can say easily that, you know, I've not had any problems moving around the constituency because people know me. And when I go to houses, I mean, like yesterday, for example, I went to this house, this old lady's house, and the other folks with me, and they said, oh, they come to introduce their candidate. And the lady said, oh, I'm on the phone. You know, she was on the telephone. And then my uncle said, listen, I come to introduce the candidate, Floyd Reifer. And here she said it, she said, oh God, I gotta go, my candidate out there. So I come. And she put on the phone right away, and she come at the window, and we had a good conversation. 90 years old. And so, you know, these things made me feel good, where the young people know me, the older people know me, and the really older people, like 80s and 90s, these women know me. You know, so that makes me feel good in terms that when you move around the constituency, that you're well known. Because, you know, my family name is a strong family name within the constituency. You know, in terms of cricket, you know, I have that respect as well. And then when I have the conversation with them, telling them the things they want to do, and they talk about my 10-point plan, you know, this is things that they're happy to hear. And they pitch in and give their advice, saying, oh, you should do this or you should do that, and it's good. And what I do also, when I move around the constituency, when I meet people with skills, I take a mental note, I take the numbers and stuff like that, and you know, ask them to give back and make a contribution back to the community when the programs are put in place. So, man, I'm happy with how things are going.
How do you de-stress from being in public life to your private life? And how has that change been for you, from being private, humble, to going into public life where your entire life is now at the mercy of Barbadians?
I was always in the public in terms of cricket, you know, playing cricket. So you never really have a life of your own. But when I get home, some nights it's so tired that you just go straight and sleep. But I try to relax, you know, I sit on my balcony, try to relax, play with my daughter, Victoria, do stuff for her. I just say watch some Netflix, talk to my wife, have some good laughs, you know, talk about things that happen during the day, the funny side of things, you know, and try to joke about it. But yeah, even though, I mean, it's a bit more hectic, you know, playing cricket, at least you had a little more downtime in terms of your private life. But now, you know, I realize that you don't have much privacy in terms of, you know, when you get into the political game. You know, you still get calls at 11 o'clock at the night, you know, and you're gonna take the calls because you don't know, people got needs, and then people calling to give advice, and so I mean, you gotta tune out at some time, you know. And when I get home at night, I try to relax and watch some TV, or the TV watch me, something. And if my daughter's home, sometimes she spend the time by her grandmother. But if she's home and it's like early, then you know we play some Uno, some card games and Ludos and stuff like that. You know, she's very competitive, so I'm competitive as well. So we have it out, you know, at nights in terms of playing some games, and that relaxes me, being just there with her, you know, enjoying her company and, you know, and her conversations, and then she tells me what happened during the day, and she knows what's going on. You know, she knows what's going on. She knows that my posters are being ripped off the polls, and she knows about straight talk, plain talk. You know, she knows that, you know, I'm running for the Democratic Labour Party. You know, I can tell you something, you know, I asked her tonight, so who do you know my opponent? And she said, me and Motley. So she said that. So I don't know if that's true or not, the way things are going. But she's very smart, so I tend to relax with her and my wife, and, you know, we just chill.
Okay. What is one thing you want the residents of St. George North to know as they go into the polling booth November the 11th?
Back with me and I will back for you. But yes, that, but St. George North know that I'm working. I'm a hard worker. I've started to work already. You can see things happening. As a man of the community, son of the soil, I'm here to work for you. I'm here for the people of St. George North. You know, I'm a dedicated community man, so go out there, put your X next to Reifer, back with me, and I will back for you.
Okay, and our final question, we're getting to the end, but what will you do, God forbid, that you do not come out victorious? Can the people in St. George North still call, still text, message, and maybe turn up? Can they still do that? Definitely,
yes. You know, I'm the type of person, I would never, you know, close the door on anybody. You know, people may see me, I'm a quiet person, but, you know, when you approach me to have that conversation, I sit and I have that conversation, because I'm a good listener. You know, I can talk to the guy on the block, I can talk to the Prime Minister. You know, I can mix and mingle with anybody. But yes, I'm here for the long haul. I don't think about losing, because when I go into anything, I go to win. You know, I believe in the law of attraction and the way how the universe has turned around things. I mean, you see it every day. You know, I'm going to win this seat. I'm so confident of that. You know, just the way how things are happening. And once I put that out there and leave it, and, you know, just let the universe take care of itself. And God, you know, you got to trust God in this. You know, it's a good thing that my mom sent me to church all those years. You know, I still got that solid foundation and God behind me. Every time I step out in faith.
Any final words you'd like to leave with us?
Yes, definitely. First, I want to thank my family. You know, I thank my wife, Amanda, my aunts, my uncles, dad, mom, everybody. I know my grandmother, she's in her grave, but I can thank her too. But I've gotten great family support. You know, even my daughter Victoria, she's into it as well. So I want to thank all of my family, especially my wife Amanda. She's been my backbone in this venture. She's my rock. You know, I want to thank also the people at St. George North. You know, I've been getting a lot of WhatsApps and a lot of emails and calls. You know, people even from Florida, all over the world have been getting calls. So I want to thank all of those people who have been supporting me and continue to support me. Even outside of the St. George North constituency, man, the energy is good. You know, I can feel the energy descending onto the community. So I want to say thanks to everybody, and I want to continue to feel your energy. You know, I work off of energy, so I'm feeling your energy. So thanks again, and thanks for all that support.
Okay, and we'd like to also thank you too for having this casual conversation Those of you who tune in, you would tune into a conversation with Reifer, a casual conversation where we tell you a bit more about your candidate-elect from the Democratic Labour Party, Floyd Reifer. It was a pleasure being here with you tonight. I am LaShawna Griffith.
Okay, good afternoon, Barbados. Yes, Floyd was a very quiet person. The news to keep him in the house, but he loved cricket. Oh dear. We go down by Floyd, set up a stump, piece of board, a piece of galvanized, whatever it is. Oh dear, me and my brother, we just as excited as Floyd. We want to play cricket. Ha ha. We bowl at Floyd, and his father was on the gallery steps. Floyd, know you put cross your feet, and you play the ball on its merits. The ball is going to turn into you, not away from you. That's how we know a leg break and a off break. So don't get this nasty, aggressive argument that Floyd didn't use to mix. Hello, burn that. Out that. Floyd is our roots. His father, a whole family of cricket. George, from way back, even the old lady that is 80 will come out in the road and hold a bat. That's our Floyd. Thank you. Good night.
Hi, my name is Floyd Antonio Esquires. The reason I'm here doing this short video, which I could do a very, very long one if I wanted to, is about my friend who I knew from childhood days, large days, and growing up. Floyd Reifer, who is currently running for St. George North constituency. Floyd is not a man of many words, but with his words, he put action. That is the Floyd Reifer I know. He is a fighter. He's not antagonistic. He's a person, he says what he says, and he do it. From we were kids, he loved to share. Until we were children growing up, he loved to share. That has always been one of his strong points. He liked to help people. Whatever he put his mind to, he can do. He's not going to argue and carry on, but he's going to make it happen. That is the Floyd Reifer I know.